In a bustling anthill nestled under a sprawling oak tree, Annie the ant stood out from her colony. While the other ants worked in perfect harmony, carrying food and building tunnels, Annie often found herself dreaming of doing something bigger. One sunny morning, while the other ants were busy gathering crumbs, Annie decided to venture into the meadow. Why settle for crumbs, she thought, when I can discover something extraordinary? As she wandered deeper into the meadow, she came across a vibrant, glowing flower unlike anything she had ever seen. Its petals shimmered like gold, and its scent was intoxicating. Annie couldn't resist climbing onto the flower. As she touched its glowing center, a sudden burst of light enveloped her. When the light faded, Annie realized something incredible had happened. She had grown enormous. She was now taller than the tallest blade of grass and as big as the oak tree that sheltered her colony. At first, Annie was thrilled. "Now, I can do everything on my own," she exclaimed. But as she tried to carry food back to the colony, she discovered that her newfound size made her clumsy. The tiny trails that once guided her steps were now impossible for her to navigate. She accidentally knocked over a mushroom shelter, frightening a family of bugs. "I'm too big to help," Annie realized, feeling frustrated and alone. Just as Annie was about to give up, she heard a gentle buzz. It was Buzzy the bee, who had been watching her struggle. "Size isn't everything, Annie," Buzzy said wisely. "The flower gave you strength, but true strength comes from working together." Buzzy introduced Annie to Tiny, a shy ladybug with a knack for solving problems. Together, the three friends devised a plan. Annie would use her size to carry heavy objects, Buzzy would scout the best paths from above, and Tiny would guide them through the narrow trails. Working as a team, they accomplished what Annie could never have done alone. They collected food, repaired the damage in the meadow, and even helped the frightened bugs rebuild their mushroom home. Along the way, Annie learned that her friends' contributions, though small, were just as important as her strength. When Annie finally returned to the colony, she was greeted with cheers. Her adventures had taught her the value of teamwork and brought the meadow creatures closer together. That night, as the glowing flower's magic faded and Annie returned to her normal size, she felt prouder than ever. From that day on, Annie became the colony's greatest advocate for teamwork, proving that no matter how big or small, everyone's efforts make a difference.